When I was little, my grandfather used to tell me stories about the winters he survived up north. He'd say the snow wasn't the scariest thing out there. It was what came with it. Back then, I didn't take him seriously. He'd sit by the fire, drink his tea, and talk in that low voice like the walls might be listening. He'd always start the same way. Never go hunting alone when the forest starts to starve. That's when the hunger walks. I thought it was just one of his old native sayings, something to scare me into staying close to home. But the older I got, the more I realized that everything he said came from something that once happened. He told me about a man named Elias Crow, a trapper who lived in the same woods my grandfather grew up near, deep in the northern part of Ontario, long before the roads were paved. Elias was known for one thing. He always came back from the woods with more fur than anyone else. People joked that the forest liked him. That winter the snow came early and stayed too long. The rivers froze, the traps stopped catching, and people started leaving their cabins to look for food miles away. But not Elias. He bragged that he'd never gone hungry a single winter. One night he packed his sled and his rifle and said he'd be gone a week, maybe two, to find new hunting grounds. He never came back. Not for a long time anyway. Weeks passed, and a small group from the village went out looking for him. They followed his trail through the trees until it vanished somewhere near an old logging path. They said they found his camp. The fire burnt out, snow melted around half-eaten meat, like something had been feeding but not cooking. No sign of Elias, just claw marks in the bark, too high up to be from any animal they knew. Everyone assumed he froze to death, until the next thaw. When the snow melted, something strange started happening. Animals were disappearing from traps before people could reach them. The sled dogs would whine at night, staring into the tree line like something was moving just out of sight. And then people started seeing it. Something tall, pale, and thin, moving on two legs, too fast for a person. My grandfather said his own father saw it one night when he went to fetch water. He swore it looked like Elias. Only wrong. His skin was stretched tight like it didn't fit anymore. His lips were gone, eyes sunk deep like he hadn't slept in months, and when he turned his head, there was frost coming off his breath, in the middle of a warm night. The village elder called it Wendigo, a spirit of endless hunger. It used to be a man, but when someone turned to feeding on others in the dead of winter, the spirit claimed them. They said you could still hear it calling your name in the wind, trying to trick you into stepping off the trail. A few hunters went out to find it. Only one came back. He said he never saw the creature, but he heard Elias's voice calling from behind him, whispering, "I found more meat." He didn't look back. After that, no one went past the ridge again. They burned Elias's cabin to the ground, left food offerings at the tree line, and prayed the hunger would stay in the woods. Years later, when my grandfather was a boy, a storm trapped his family in their cabin for days. No food, no light, just the sound of wind tearing through the forest. On the third night, he said they heard scratching at the door. Slow, patient. His father loaded his rifle thinking it was a wolf. Then came the voice. It called his father's name, clear as day, from right outside. "Open up, I found meat." His father didn't move. He just whispered, "Don't answer, that's not a man." The next morning, the snow outside the door was pressed down, footprints leading away. But they weren't boot prints. They looked like long, bony hands dragging through the snow. My grandfather said that after that night his father never went back into those woods, and when winter came, he'd always make sure to leave food out by the edge of the forest, just in case the hunger still remembered where he lived. Before he passed, my grandfather told me that the Wendigo isn't just a monster. It's a reminder. He said it's what happens when you let greed eat away at you, when you take more than you need, when you forget what it means to be human. He'd smile that sad smile and say, "The hunger never leaves the woods. It just waits for the next fool to get too proud." Sometimes when I go up north to visit what's left of the old cabin, I still feel it, that strange emptiness in the air, like the forest itself is holding its breath. And when the wind blows just right through the pines, I swear I hear a whisper. I found more meat.